My man! Welcome to the show. How are you? Really excited as a parent and as a person of color to have our guest today. Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, guys, what's up? It's Irfan. Bob Koleszarik, welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
Great, Irfan. It's great to be here. Great to see you again, as always.
It's really my pleasure. You know, when we had originally met, one of the things that struck me about you and why I wanted to get you on the show so bad is you have an energy that you put out, an aura, if you will, that is very welcoming and very warm. And I remember the first day that we talked, I was in a state of mind. I had a lot of nervous tension. I had a lot of head garbage going on, and we talked about things that had nothing to do with whatever my issues were, but just the simple fact of talking to you and you started talking about leadership and just energy and health and all these things in no particular order. But at the end of that call, I was like, gosh, I just feel a lot calmer. So I don't know what that is, but I want more of it. So if we could just stop there, let me turn it back over to you, because I sometimes like just to hear myself talk, and that's not really the point of this podcast. If you could maybe just introduce yourself and give some background to what you do, how you started, and what you're doing right now, that might be a best place to sort of set this up.
All right. Well, let me just start with the energy component. I just got back from a week-long higher clairvoyance workshop, a manifestation workshop, and just general spiritual workshops in the Catskills of Bovina, New York. And there's just high energy coming through there. And it's an Arhatic practice. It's a deep spiritual practice, which I can talk about more in depth later. But that's part of what we do. It's the energy work from a very spiritual place. And my aura does increase. I do have a pretty sizable aura as a result of my spiritual practice. And that's what you feel. I am filled with calm and inner peace on a regular basis. And that's all part of my transformation over the years to get to where I'm at now.
And how long have you been in this area, in this field?
I started at the end of 2018, and my journey into it was based on the fact that at the time my now ex-wife was going through breast cancer, and we were going to the cancer hospital, and I saw these brochures for people doing Reiki energy healing, and I thought, oh my gosh, they're doing Reiki energy in the hospitals. It's really becoming well known as a complementary healing modality. And so I started studying that. And then short time after that, I found about pranic healing, which is what I do now, pranic healing and Arhatic yoga, which pranic healing, in my opinion, is a more advanced form of energy healing. And I got into it that way as a result of that. And then from that, the Arhatic practice grew.
I'm going to ask you to define those terms in just a moment. But before I forget my train of thought, and at the cost of... I don't mean to be offensive, but you're a smart dude. You went to Purdue. You got an engineering background. And so for me, that lends you more credibility. Now, that said, when I hear about to the person who's uninitiated, who isn't sold, quote unquote, on some of these practices, coming from you, that means a lot, because I'm a science guy. I'm a technology guy. So when I hear somebody, if it was somebody else who didn't have your background, I'd be like, that guy's kind of woo-woo. I don't know about that. But can you talk to me about, well, first define those terms, pranic, I think it was, and some of those other ones, and then get into what you do and some of the biggest obstacles where people just might not be open to the benefits of what you do, and how do you convince them? Do you got to sell them on it? Or I
mean, you're hitting a lot of territory there. Let me address that first. One of the things that keep me up at night is knowing that I can help people in regards to the energy healing and the coaching. And the combination of the two is phenomenal and a quick transformation. And that's how I got into the business and started it. Because when I was going through it, I was telling my wife, and I separated, and like 3 weeks after that, I found out she had terminal cancer and 2 years to live. And my son was basically in a very dark emotional place. And I was working and commuting to New York City. I was in the construction business for 30 years, in the elevator business, so stressed out, commuting from Philly to New York. And it's just, my health was bad, deteriorating. I felt like just poop, I just had to surrender. I'm just like, everything's caving in on me. And then it was that time I found pranic healing and had a couple of sessions done on me. And that gave me the mental clarity, because my ex was saying, you have to stay with me. I'm like, you were going to sacrifice my son, life for life. I mean, it was karmic. So I didn't talk to her for 2 years. But anyway, the pranic healing helped me get clarity and emotional stability and the ability to move forward in the way that I did. But prana is simply like life force, like chi. You've heard like energy, life energy. It's, descent of the Holy Spirit. It depends on what. It's an Indian term, I believe, but it's just the life force that we breathe in through our energy body, that keeps our energy body going, keeps us going.
Okay. So here you were, let's go back to, you're just coming to the realization that, this job and my lifestyle, commuting from Philly to New York, is not sustainable. It's not leading to good things. And in 2018, was it, you made you made a massive change in your life?
Well, end of 2018, 2019. And I discovered pranic healing through a Tony Robbins event that I went to with my son. And then Master Ko, who's one of 8 pranic healing masters in the world, was there. And I learned about it. I'm like, oh my God, this is for me. And I learned about it because of the meditation called Meditation on Twin Hearts, which is deeply spiritual meditation. And it's a guided meditation based on the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi, where you're channeling in peace, calm, joy, happiness, forgiveness, and all these things. And repetitive practice of that, you will start feeling the inner calm, the inner peace, the joy, the clarity, and you'll be able to forgive. And it opens up your heart, and it really de-stresses you. And that's where a lot of my inner peace and calms come from.
Wow. Okay. So here you are, you've started this practice as a healer. What happens? How do you get your first patients, or do you call them patients? Walk me through.
Some people call them patients or clients. So when I started this, it was all for my self-help, my own, and that's, I call my business self-help. I'm just trying to figure out how to help myself best mentally, emotionally, and physically. And then, so I decided to take the certification to learn the techniques of a coach, so I can do a deep dive into myself, and then I do the healing part for myself. And the combination of the two is amazing, because you understand, where are my blocks? Where are my emotional blocks? Where are my energetic blocks? How am I not seeing the clarity of who I am and what my purpose is? So I found that in myself, which is what I'm doing now. So I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent. So what was your question there exactly?
No,
how do I do the pranic healing? How do I find the clients? Well, when I started in 2019, it just word of mouth, and then you grow and advertise. But during this process, COVID hit, and I became part of a service pod through Project Hope for Healing. And I think altogether we did over 300,000 sessions with pranic healings from around the world on COVID patients. And it was just a service that we provide as Arhatic yogis. We provide service to the world. And we did, as a massive group, did over 300,000 healing sessions. And I still participate as a co-leader in the healing pod.
And you're a certified, you said you're a yogi as well?
Yeah, Arhatic yogi, yeah.
Arhatic yogi. Okay, can you talk about the principle? I think the very first time we met, you were talking about it, and I didn't have a very firm understanding. Talk about that specialization within yoga, Arhatic.
Well, Arhat means saint.
Okay.
And yoga means union or to join. So Arhatic, saint, and the join, it basically a practice to become one with your higher self, your inner self, your, just really true to who you are. And there's 5 pillars of Arhatic yoga. One is a belief in a supreme being.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, and reverence to your spiritual teacher. The second is inner purification process, where you want to just purify your soul of weaknesses like stealing, lying, excessiveness, things like that. And you just want to get rid of those weaknesses. You want to be generous. You don't want to steal. You don't want to lie. You want to be honest. You don't want to live an excessive lifestyle. You want to be moderate, so there's techniques and processes to go through that. The third pillar is meditations. We have different meditation schedules for different things. And then the fourth would be service and tithing. So one of my form of service is working on a service pod, healing people, no cost for COVID. And then tithing is very important because we reap what we sow. So if you want to get more money, learn the technology of the universe. You reap what you sow. Most major religions say that, So if you want more money, you need to give money. You need to exhale and inhale. It's the yin and the yang. So you learn the technologies of life that way, You want more love, you give love. Mm-hmm. That kind of thing. So
it's so, hearing you say that, you make it sound so simple and clean and easy. And if you just snapped your fingers and all of a sudden, because I see you now, right? And in all my conversations with you, you emulate the principles and these 5 pillars that you talked about so well. I think that's what drew me to you to begin with. By
the way, the fifth pillar would be continued study, and that's why I was just up in the Catskill Mountains for a long weekend of higher clairvoyance class, manifestation class. I took a feng shui, pranic feng shui, to learn how the feng shui of the energy flows through, and so there's continued study, and some of it's fun. They're just higher level workshops.
Tell me more about manifestation. It's a lot. There's a lot of, everyone's talking about, I'm going to manifest this, I'm going to manifest this, and that, and the other 2 things that you mentioned.
Well, the manifestation, one principle that we need to realize is higher souls and beings of God. We've all heard you're made in the image and likeness of God, which means we're God-like, right? So we have that ability to manifest. We are inherent creators, and everything starts with your thoughts, right? And if you can plant good seeds or your bad seeds, and the thoughts are the seeds that basically form the foundation of our reality, and what we see. It could be a living hell in here, or it could be heaven on earth, and it's the way you think about it. And that's where the manifestation begins. But, you should have a lot of gratitude in your heart. You want to be having happy thoughts, creative thoughts, loving thoughts. Gratitude is important. The energy that you put into it, you visualize, and you got to feel that passion for what you want to manifest into your life, So that's all important. But there's techniques that we learn, that can't be shared, unless you're taking the course,
Yeah, for sure. For somebody who might be at the beginning stages of wanting to make a significant lifestyle change, similar to the transition that you made, there's a lot of, potential therapists out there, self-help gurus out there. What advice would you give to somebody who might be going through a rough patch, who might be going through a divorce, who might be going through, any number of different, things, and is searching for something? How would you set them on their way to finding what's right for them?
Well, you have to, look into your heart and just ask yourself, because I do this with my clients. What's going on in your head right now? Well, my ex or my wife is, yelling at me, and she's just being mean to me for no reason, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, now calm yourself down and put your hand on your heart and ask yourself that question. Your heart might give you a different answer. Oh, you know what? She's going through a rough patch right now, and I should be more compassionate. It'll change, but you want to come through your heart. You just want to try to find what's best for you. Now, I would say, come give me a shot. I definitely can help you. I had a client come to me who's actually a therapist, and was 6 months going to therapy for debilitating anxiety, you know.
Wow.
And she came to me, and she, you know, somebody I know fairly well, and texted me, I need the voodoo. Somebody who, you know, I need the voodoo, not know what I do. And so I said, okay, you come to the right place. So I did like 2 weeks of treatment, and I took her from a 10 to like a 3, and really functional in like 2 weeks. And this is somebody who knows the techniques of the deep breathing and all that stuff. So
was this what we call talk therapy, like talking to them, or what was it?
well, sometimes I'll do it remote. So she'll be at work, and I'll do a healing. And, you know, I use crystals. I use a big crystal, you know, I'll lay down crystals on the chakras. So I'm cleaning and energizing your energy body through the different chakra systems. And, you know, depending on what I'm working on, whether it's physical or emotional, your chakra and your energy bodies control different physical parts of your body or emotional parts of your body.
Fascinating. And how long did it take for her to go from a 10 to a 3?
Less than 2 weeks. And this was after 6 months of, you know, intense. Yeah.
Gosh.
But it's helpful to be receptive and, you know, just have faith in the process, because we are all really souls, and we're all spirits, and we're all really truly made of energy, and we're inhabiting these bodies. When you die, your soul's going on, and everybody believes that. But then they have, I don't know where the hard line is. Okay, I believe I have a soul that's in my body, but I can't make that leap to understanding I have an energy body, which is part of my incarnation here. I'm part physical, part energy. But people, oh, I'll go to heaven, but they don't understand that while you're here, there's an energetic component to it. And it's very scientific in that approach when you think about it, and how big this universe is. And yeah, my energy body does match up with the cosmos, if you think about it. Yeah.
Heavy.
It is. It's heavy and it's deep, but it's all real. I assure you.
I don't doubt that it is for 1 second, especially.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second there.
Sure.
My Siri kicked. Oh, I think I didn't hear what you were saying.
No, that's okay. So talk to me about your ideal clients. Who are they? What do they look like? What do they do for a living? What makes them your ideal candidates or ideal clients or patients?
I don't have an ideal candidate. Well, I guess if I had an ideal candidate, I would like to specialize with people with, you know, emotional issues, you know, stress, anxiety, grief, hard-hitting stuff, because a lot of our emotional traumas, you know, turn into physical problems later. You know, you get that stuff stuck into your body, you know. Think about all that stress, like for my situation, all that chronic stress, it blows out your adrenal glands, it produces cortisone in your body, you know, and it just blows out your pancreas after a while, and you get type 2 diabetes like I did, you know, from just chronic stress. So that's an emotional, physicalization of an emotional issue. You know, heart attacks, high blood pressure, all these things, stress related, you know.
Right. And, you know, allopathic medicine would say, hey, take these 5 drugs, right? Like go take these pills. And obviously, are you anti-allopathic medicine, or do you think there's a fine balance between going to an MD, going to a physician versus coming to you? Talk to me about where that balance is.
My teacher, my master Glenn Mendoza out of the Pranic Healing Center in Lyndhurst, New Jersey, is a medical doctor. He's a retired medical doctor. He was a neonatal physician. He specialized in premature babies. And there's a whole institute for research and studies on the effects of pranic healing. But we're a complementary form of healing. We are not, and we don't diagnose. We don't, you know, get the diagnosis from the professional medical doctors. Pranic healers are not medical doctors, but medical doctors could be pranic healers.
Love it. So you were saying a little bit about your ideal client, and you know, in terms of the emotional components and you know, negativity that they might be going through.
Yeah, and one other one on top of that is, you know, people with diabetes, because that's near and dear to my heart. And I've treated myself a lot on that, and I made a lot of improvements. Like even like triglycerides were so high or are now within normal range. My liver enzymes, like fatty liver, high level enzymes, are all within normal range. My HDL cholesterol, which was always negative or positive territory. Now my blood sugar, because I was having some emotional issues that really required a lot of ice cream and heavy doses of chocolate syrup. So I got to do a little work on that. So there's always work in progress. So, but I'm down 30 pounds. I feel fantastic. Really, I feel great.
Yeah. In terms of what your clients look like, are they of a certain race? Are they of a certain age? Do
No.
they tend to be clustered in certain profession?
No.
Okay.
We're soul-based business.
A soul-based business. I love it. I can do that.
Our practice and our community, we meditate and hang out and study with people of all races, religions, from all over the world. And there's just a love and community. So anybody who needs help, I'll take on pro bono cases for people that simply can't pay, and I do that. But we also like to make money. Spirituality, there's nothing wrong with making money in a spiritual sense, because the more money you earn, the more you can give and the more help you can do with them.
Certainly, you have a talent and a service and a mission, and I don't think there's you're not a martyr. You have to have a roof over your head.
Yeah, I have to eat. I'm a big guy.
You said something just a minute ago. You've got people from all different religions. Do you think that some people might say what you do is at odds with religion? So can somebody be Muslim and see a pranic healer, or Christian or Jewish? And
there are Muslim pranic healers. There are pranic healers all over the world in every religion.
Okay. So there's nothing about what you provide that goes against any scripture or anything like that. Might be a silly question. I just don't.
No, it's a great question, honestly, because people are like, oh, that's a cult or this or that or whatever, but it's just a spirituality, and it's personal for everybody. But me doing this practice would make me a better Christian. A Jew doing the practice will make them a better Jew. A Muslim doing the practice will make them a better Muslim. A Hindu, better Hindu, better Buddhist, better whatever
it is. Yeah. How can people get in touch with you?
They can text me, or
you can put that number on the screen. What is it?
It's 908 area code 578-3086. And my email address I can give.
Yeah,
you want me to put that on the screen? Are you going to do that? Or
yeah, we'll do that. What is it?
It's Bob at selfhelpcoachingllc.com.
Wonderful. Any other advice for somebody who's thinking about getting in touch with you? What should they know about what you do? Not only that, but are you comfortable talking about the cost structure a little bit in terms of what they should be looking at?
Yeah, my initial session for an hour of pranic healing is $150 a session. And my coaching is $250 a session.
Super affordable. Yep.
But if you want to do a healing session and a coaching session, then it's probably be like $300 a session, and then discounts for packages. But not one session is necessarily it's not going to help you. But a few sessions, like I said, that one client with the debilitating anxiety, 2 weeks of sessions, and she's good.
What's the frequency that she ended up doing? Every day, every couple days?
I did every day,
Wow.
Monday through Friday for the first week, because it was a serious case. But after that, she started getting better, and then normally it'd be like twice a week. Depends on the condition. Like we treat people with suicidal tendencies, and that might be every day or something like that.
I just can't imagine the emotional reservoir and the amount of empathy that you must have for people. I'm always blown away by, I don't think doing what you do is easy. I certainly couldn't do it. But it's nice to know, it's comforting to know that you're out there and there to help folks get over trauma and turbulent relationships and everything in between. So I again just wanted to thank you for taking the time to chat with us today, and it's always a pleasure to get to chat with you, even for a little bit. The rest of my day usually just goes smoother.
Well, thank you. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for having me on your podcast. I do really appreciate it. And it sounds woo-woo, but it works. I tell you, it's fantastic. It's changed my life so much.
Awesome. I know it has. Bob Koleszarik, everyone, one of my dear friends. All right. Have a good one, Bob.
All right. You too. We'll see you.